So we have a little more, a different perspective on the issue with Southwest and the little girl and the support dog where she got, scraped on the forehead. Um, this is the issue from a completely legal perspective, and I found it kind of interesting. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I found it interesting, and I thought you guys would too. Let's go take a look about the little girl and the dog bite on Southwest Airlines. Everyone's forgetting this one key thing. Is the dog owner at fault, or the little girl, or the airline? It turns out there's a really easy answer. You heard about the Southwest Airlines flight where the little girl was injured by a support dog, right? The story went viral. Questions were asked. Was she bitten? Was she merely scraped? Was it all her fault to begin with? In all the noise, however, something was glossed over, an entire legal specialty with an admittedly silly name, dog bite law. Because it turns out dog bite law provides a lot of the answers that people are searching for. Let's go through what happened, what people are talking about, and why a lot of this might already be settled without people even realizing it. Dogs on a plane. First, the reported facts. The 6-year-old girl was with her parents boarding a Southwest flight on Phoenix en route to Portland, Oregon. See the video embedded at the end of this article for more context. She passed by a customer with a dog, and as 6-year-olds might be expected to do, she tried to pet it. Another passenger posted what he saw on Twitter. Southwest allows a support dog on the plane, bites kid, paramedics now on plane. The tweet was later deleted. Southwest Airlines had a slightly different take, saying in a statement afterward, a support dog's teeth scraped a child's forehead as the young passenger approached the animal, causing a minor injury. A bite? A scrape? Who knows? Cops were called. EMTs checked the girl out. Ultimately, the passenger with the support dog was asked to leave the plane. The little girl and her family stayed aboard, with the little girl sporting a bandage. As the father of a little girl myself, I'm going to go out on a limb and say she probably liked having the bandage. The backlash and the bite. On the internet, because we can't have nice things, a lot of people seem to side quickly with the dog owner, who reportedly told police that the girl had been warned to stay away. As one person tweeted, according to Business Insider, after apparently taking the dog owner's version as gospel truth. She was specifically told to stay away. Clearly, she nor her parents listened. She's already 6. Teach her personal responsibility. The pet owner has every right to be angry. It's not the dog's fault. The kid wasn't supervised, and I'm with that camp. Because you can only do so much with the dog if the kid won't stay away. Only, as it turns out, in Arizona, it literally wouldn't matter. There is no question under the law. The owner is 100% at fault, legally speaking. This is because Arizona has a very tough dog bite law, which imposes strict liability on an owner whose dog bites someone, explained Sean Phelan, a partner at Jensen Phelan Law Firm in Prescott, Arizona. You might not agree with it. You might not like it, but the law is pretty close to ironclad. Simply, the dog owner is liable even if she exercised the utmost care to prevent any harm, Phelan said. Arizona's strict liability dog bite law makes no exceptions for service or assistance animals. Man bites dog. Kids get bit by dogs all the time in this world, of course. What makes this newsworthy is that it happened on an airplane. And it comes in the midst of a vehement debate over whether airlines should really have to let let people bring support animals aboard in the first place. People have been seriously hurt, like the man who was reportedly viciously attacked by a dog on a Delta flight last year. In the wake of these kinds of incidents, United Airlines and Delta Airlines both announced more stringent restrictions on people bringing animals aboard. However, Southwest policy seems a little less restrictive. It's posted on their website. Anyone who wants to bring an animal aboard for emotional support has to bring a letter from a medical health professional. All of which leads to something I think they taught us on the first day of law school, the deep pockets rule. The actual issue is whether there is insurance, explained Michael P. McCready, a Chicago lawyer with McCready, Garcia, and Leet. And a lot of times, individual dog owners don't have enough insurance or deep enough pockets to make them worth suing. The deep pockets rule. You know who does have deep pockets, though? The airlines themselves. And if I were running an airline, I'd be a little concerned. Granted, the airlines really are in a bind. Federal disability law requires them to let people bring support animals aboard, but other passengers often aren't thrilled about the idea of sharing a pressurized metal tube at 30,000 feet with a strange and unpredictable dog or peacock. It's not until people get hurt, however, and lawyers get involved that we start thinking about the real risk to an airline that doesn't think all through. An airline wouldn't face the same strict liability standard, but if a creative lawyer could come up with a good negligence argument, it could be really costly. Fortunately, this little girl wasn't seriously injured. Fortunately, the whole thing happened on the ground. What would happen sometime when a dog becomes scared and protective at altitude, trying to defend its owner against perceived threats? What would happen if other passengers or crew members were seriously injured or worse? Besides the obvious physical danger, the financial danger is perhaps much greater than many people appreciate. Animals in cabins can be potentially very dangerous, said Alexis Breyer, a personal injury and wrongful death lawyer with Breyer Law offices in Arizona. There should be procedures that dog owners have to follow so that the animals cannot come out near other passengers. This is especially so for dogs near minors. What do you think? Does strict liability make sense, or is there another answer? So that's an interesting article from a completely legal point of view. I do believe that dog owners ought to be liable for what their dogs do, unless it can be proven that the dog was being harassed or provoked at the time. In many states, that's what the law says. If you can prove that the dog was being harassed or provoked, then you are not liable for the bite. So there is some mitigation there that can go on. It's an interesting viewpoint as opposed to the service dog community's viewpoint. The service dog community, what we're interested in is, was the dog aggressive? Did the dog take an aggressive attitude and do this on purpose? The reason this is important to us is, if not, this could happen to any one of us. Our dog could be behaving perfectly at our side, doing what it's supposed to be doing, sitting there panting, and a child could start coming towards the dog, and to prevent injury, we tell the child to stay back. The dog is supposed to stay with us and stay in position. Stay calm. Well, if the dog is doing that and the kid runs up, despite you telling them not to, and starts molesting your dog, most of the legitimate service dog handlers teach their dogs to spurn advances from strangers. It works on a variable basis. Some dogs take that better than others. You know, we have social butterflies that it's really hard. You know, we work on it though. We want our dogs to spurn the advances of strangers, which means turning their head away or turning to face us. And if a child runs up and is molesting the dog and the dog is doing as trained, trying to spurn those advances, and they're panting at the time and they turn, they could accidentally hit the child with a tooth, you know, completely unintentionally, and scrape the child. Now we're in the same exact position, and our dog didn't do anything, and we didn't do anything. Yet, you know, we're in this sticky position now, and people accusing our dog of being aggressive, of biting, and all of this. So, that's the service dog community's concern and viewpoint. Um, it could happen to any one of us at any time, you know. Anyway, I thought you guys might find this viewpoint interesting. Till next video, bye.